One of the most important part of manifestation is having the right identity that aligns with your desired reality, right? Because you can only have what you are, who you think you are, right? If you think I am successful, I am a successful entrepreneur, I am an action taker, I am rich, I am wealthy, right? Those are not just statements, they are part of your identity. Your identity is comprised full of I am statements, right? And these I am statements that have been embedded within your psyche, they have been formed by your past behaviors and actions, right? The one mistake that people make when they try to shift their identity is, for example, let's say you have been thinking, I am broke. And when it comes to these I am statements, the nuance here is people don't think about these statements. It is deeply embedded within the subconscious, right? So most of you who are watching this, many people, they're not even aware of these statements, right? So if you have been under the programming that I am poor, I am broke, I am someone who procrastinates, most people try to do is they immediately try to shift from I am rich, I am wealthy, and they try affirmations, they try visualizations, right? But most of the time, it doesn't work. That is because these I am statements that have been sabotaging your reality, they have been there for years and decades of your life. So it's not very easy for you to completely shift to a new identity before forming proof, right? Because your identity, your I am statements that has been embedded within your psyche, those identities gets formed because of your past behaviors and actions, right? So your past behaviors and actions serves as proof for that particular identity, right? If you believe, if you think, if you have the identity that I am someone who procrastinates, then that is because you have been procrastinating all your life. So that particular actions of you not doing the tasks that you said that you will do, those get formed as proof for your identity, which is I am someone who procrastinates. So what is the process of changing your identity? So for you to shift your identity to a new identity, you need new proof, right? So first, let go of all the past and behavior that you do. Stop feeling guilty about it. Stop feeling shameful about it, right? Because the past does not exist. The future does not exist. What exists is the present moment only, right? So first step is to let go of all the past behaviors and actions that makes you feel guilty, right? So for you to shift your identity, now these are just examples. This can be any I am statement that has been embedded within your mind, right? If you think I am not a successful entrepreneur, and if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, then you need to possess the identity of a successful entrepreneur, right? And the best way to do that is to add as much proof as possible for the new identity, that that identity becomes your new identity, and you can start operating from the new identity so that you can materialize your frequency into physical reality. So your identity has many subparts beneath it, right? So there's a process that you need to take. There's a step-by-step process that you need to do in order for you to change your identity. It is not as simple as it is simple, but it is not as easy as many people think. It is not as simple that many people think that you can instantly shift from I am poor to I am rich in one day, right? Even if you try, like, even if you do 100 affirmations per day saying I am rich, I am wealthy, it will not work most of the time. It will not work 100%, like 99% of the time. It is because you don't have proof, right? You don't gather proof for your new identity, right? Even if you affirm 100 times a day, your subconscious is not going to believe it. So the truth of the matter is, you can only have what you already are. So first you need to identify what identities do I possess, and if those identities matches your desired reality. And you don't have one identity, you have many identities, right? So you might be a doctor, you might be an engineer, you might be a father, you might be an entrepreneur. There are different identities that many people possess, right? So it is very much important that all your identities synchronize with your desired reality, right? If you want a car, you need to have an identity that I am someone who owns a car, right? If you want a big grand house, then you need to be in the identity of I am someone who naturally owns houses. I am rich, I am wealthy, right? So let's get into the process. So the process here is, first you need to decide who you want to be, who you need to be in order for you to materialize your desires into physical reality. So decide who you want to be, right? So if you have been thinking I am poor, or if you have been thinking I am someone who procrastinates, and you want to shift that identity to I am someone who is an action taker, then decide that I am an action taker. It is as simple as that. First, you need to decide who you want to be. Once you have decided, then you need to feel, right? Now, if you have been procrastinating all your life, then chances are you don't know the feeling of how it would feel if you actually completed all the tasks on time, right? So imagine yourself being rich, imagine yourself being wealthy, imagine yourself completing all the actions that you said that you will do, and just be in those feelings as much as possible, right? Because changing a frequency is the first step in changing a frequency is having the right emotions, right? Changing your identity comes next, but the first step is always to change your emotions, right? Because even if I've been thinking I am someone who procrastinates, deep down the emotions are guilt and shame, right? Even below the identities that you possess, there are always emotions, right? If you think I am rich, then there are certain emotions that are associated with it. If you think I am poor, then there are some emotions that are associated with it, right? So decide the identity that you want to possess, and then feel that identity, feel it deeply, right? If you have been struggling in your business and you want to become a successful businessman, a successful entrepreneur, feel it. If you have been having no clients this month, feel like how you would feel if you had 10 more clients, 20 more clients, 100 more clients, how it would feel, right? And once you feel it, then set out the task that you need to do, right? Chances are you already know what task that you need to complete to feel that identity, to become that identity. If you want to shift from being a procrastinator to becoming an action taker, then the one simple thing that you need to do is simply finish the task that you said that you will do, right? If you want to become a successful entrepreneur, then once you feel it deeply, you will come up. There will be mental nudges. Your intuition will guide you on what task that you need to do, and you need to simply do it. And the more action that you take that is associated with that particular identity, the more proof you gather. And the actions that you take, they serve as proof. The behaviors that you do, they serve as proof, right? So it is very much important that you lower the threshold of feeling good, right? So let's say you want to become a successful entrepreneur and you want to possess the identity that I am a successful entrepreneur, right? So you receive a mental nudge that you need to outreach to at least 100 people today, right? Now, if you don't outreach or you offer to 100 people, and sometimes life happens, sometimes shit happens, and you can't complete that task, don't feel bad, don't feel guilty, don't feel shameful, because most of the time when you have a to-do list, when like I'm an entrepreneur, right? So most of the entrepreneurs, what we do is we set out tasks that we need to do for the day, and we would have completed 90% of it, but still we would feel guilty, we would feel shameful that we couldn't finish the last 10%. Sometimes you're perfectionistic, right? So you need to lower your threshold of the task that you said that you will do, right? Because once you fix the identity that you want to be, so once you fix the identity that you want to possess, that you want to operate from, and you feel it, naturally you have some tasks that you need to do, right? Because this, you are living in the physical plane, you still need to take physical action in order for you to materialize your frequency into your desired reality. But that can only happen after you have aligned in the mental plane. If you want to learn about the physical plane and mental plane, check out my other videos, but that is out of scope for this video. This video is all about changing your identity, right? So the crux of the matter is you need more proof, right? And for you to have more proof, you need to take more action. And what action, what is the right action, you will know once you feel your new identity, right? Once you feel your new identity as deeply as possible, just let go of it and go and live your life, right? So if you haven't noticed it, we are operating from all three planes of existence. So there's the physical plane, there's a mental plane, and there's a spiritual plane. So I hope you took notes, because I'm going to refer to the diagram that I drew before. So if you remember it, great. If you don't, then rewind the video and take notes, right? So first we decide, right? we decide and feel. That is, we aligning ourselves in the mental plane. Because only when you are in the right emotions, only when you are in the right frequency, you can start operating, you can start taking the right action, right? For you to take the right action, for you to know which action is right, you need to be in the right frequency, right? So we are aligning our frequency to a desired reality by focusing on the identity that we want to possess, right? And once we do this, what is next? The next step is set tasks and act, right? Because once we know what tasks we need to do, we need to simply do it. That is, we aligning ourselves in the physical plane. Because the more faster you execute, the more you master the physical plane, right? Procrastination is the biggest, deadliest, whatever you want to call it, it is the worst obstacle in mastering in physical plane. Because when you procrastinate, your self-trust gets hit, your confidence levels gets hit, your conviction levels gets hit. Because when you know you need to do something, because like if you deeply want that particular desire, then there are certain actions that you need to take. And if you don't take those actions, then that means you don't really want that desire, right? So you contradict yourself. You say you want something, and your intuition says, okay, do this, and you will get that, but you simply don't do that, then how will you get that particular desire, right? So it is very much important that after you align in the mental plane, you need to master the physical plane by taking rapid action. You need to be a ruthless executor, right? And when it comes to the spiritual plane, you need to trust God or universe that it will bring the desired reality to you. Your job is to simply do the tasks that your intuition says that you will do, right? And for you to get the right intuition, for you to get the right actions from your intuition, you need to feel your desired reality as much as possible. You need to feel the new identity as much as possible. If you have been thinking, I am a unsuccessful entrepreneur, then feel like how you would feel if you were a successful entrepreneur. And once you feel it more, you can start believing in that I am a successful entrepreneur, right? That is how you change your identity. That is how you change your I am statements, right? So the order in which you do is, the first is the mental plane. You decide and you feel, and the second is the spiritual, and the second is the spiritual plane, and the third is the physical plane, right? I mean, these both go hand in hand, right? Because even if you do the actions, you need to have the mindset that by doing these actions, I trust God that He will bring or she will bring. Like, I'm not bringing genders to God over here. God is impersonal. God doesn't have any gender. There is just energy, right? So you trust God that He will bring you desired reality, right? So, but the first step here is the mental plane. It is the foremost important part of this entire equation, right? So that is how you change your identity, right? You change your identity by gathering proof, and for you to gather the right proof, you decide and you feel the right identity. So that's how you change your identity, right? And that's it from me. Check out the link in the description to access my free abundance course. And yeah, I think that's it. I will see you in another video.